This is the Headless Headhunter, and I am doing more resumes. This is XXXX. I got the amount of X's correct this time. They are looking for a back-end engineer position. To cut off, it's Python. I believe it's Python that they're looking for specifically. So let's review the resume, and what we're going to be looking for is the word Python. Anything with API, CI/CD, Django, Flask, Flask can never pronounce IT names. And then anything with AI, machine learning, MLN, NLP. There's a lot, but you're going to need the acronyms as well. Cloud, AWS, GCP, or Azure, any of them, anything with SQL. And this one's going to depend. This is more bonus points, but if you have full stack stuff such as JavaScript, TypeScript, CSS, HTML, that's a bonus. And maybe some other companies want a separate language as well. That's more, the last line is really of a bonus keywords. So without further ado, let's do this. So they sent me, and if this is correct, they sent in 10 applications and got 2 callbacks, which I want to know more because that's not a great sample size, but I'm not a fan of this formatting. Uh, so this is crazy formatting. But student with a workplace adapting to responsibility, okay, this doesn't matter. So I do not like your formatting. I'm going to be honest. I would switch it to my formatting. Again, that's why I have it. It's this. You want your first name, last name, your phone number, email, and then this is going to be LinkedIn or GitHub or whatever. Depends on the industry. And then if you are in the United States, which I don't believe you are, I'm going to make a guess, then you need this stuff. But otherwise, just put where you are located. Then I want your education up here real quick. Shouldn't be longer than 3 lines total for all of them. If it's just bachelor's, that's fine. Just put bachelor's. And then your work history like this. Let's go back to this. Right. There's a lot of wasted space here. This entire I hate all of that. I mean, this may be the case that in Madrid, this is the right meta for writing a resume. Again, I am a US based recruiter, so I can only tell you what is good in the United States. This may be the right way to write it in Madrid. I don't know. I have not recruited in there. So I have to judge it based on the United States because I don't have the experience outside of that. So I mean, technically it's like one person in Canada, but that does not count. IT support for employees, someone from the usage management, exit proving great. Oh, I like this. I mean, I think it could really just be a bullet point, but and you do have this here. Look, I don't like this because I can't tell, but I will say it does show the skills here and it gives this. I feel like so here's the trouble. This may be great over there, and this does do a weird format. Sometimes weird formats can work. I feel like there is a better way to do this though. So this could be a bullet point. You could just make this a bullet point, which is said, my supervisor has said, uh, they have helped us improve the daily work experience in the company and have no doubt in the near future they will be great professional. Like that is okay. If your manager said that, you can put that as a bullet point, right? Like you could put it here. Like that could be a bullet point. And then I want to see these things here. But the problem with the 10 applications to 2 resumes is I don't know if I'm wrong or not because that is not a high enough sample size. Typically, if you have anything more than 1 application to 50, sorry, if you get the ratio is 1 application to 50, 1 interview to 50 applications. That is what I'm trying to say. 1 interview to 50 applications is a solid ratio. Um, it's not great and can probably be better, but it's not terrible. The problem with this is I don't know what those 2 interviews were, how related, or if you those out of those 10 companies, like if you applied to 1,000, those are the only 10 that would have only 2 out of those would have made you forward. So I like that your keywords. I think you correctly guessed every single keyword I would need. So I just want them in bullet points. Really, that's it that are clearer. Keep this. I want to be clear. Keep this. It is very difficult to recruit for somebody that knows another language because people do not put it in their resume. Uh, so I would put it like right here, or right below that line. And I think this is the case of how even a bad formatting, if you do the keywords correctly, which you did, these are everything they would want, uh, can lead to interviews because you have React, you have Django, you have Python, you have Django again, you have JavaScript. So I think your keywords are correct. You just need to format them better, and I think it will give you a better chance. But again, that is a United States based perspective. I do not know the Madrid meta. So that is my vote, which is maybe move you forward. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. You do have the stuff. It's just very hard to read. It really depends on the competition and the based on this. But yeah, your keywords are perfect. You've got the keywords right. Maybe cloud would be easier. So anyway, now we do a transition. This is a resume of MM who is looking for a embedded Linux developer. Also, slight note to everybody who wasn't watching this live, I forgot to record the last one. So I did like a 7 minutes of this. So now I'm going to do it again. So I have seen this and I know what I'm going to be looking at. So they're going to be looking for these keywords and qualifications, which is going to be a primary language, which I did see they were missing a lot from the resume. Because it doesn't really, this part doesn't really matter or count most of the time. We need it in the bullet points. Then they're looking for Linux, which is Yocto, Buildroot, and OTOS, which they did have Yocto. Probably mispronouncing that. Then also you want Ubuntu, x86, ARM-Git, and ICP, SPU, USB embedded systems, and multitasking can work autonomously. So they are looking for a position, I assume, in Egypt. I could not find any embedded Linux developers in Egypt, probably because they were in a different language. So I had to base this on the United States roles, which again, I don't know how much that's going to cross, like how accurate it's going to be, because this is the only thing I could do with that. So, without further ado, take this with a grain of salt. But since I did just see this, I'm going to tell you what you are missing pretty quickly. So, I like the fact that you have Linux. I like the fact you have scripting and Bash, which is something I did forget to add to the keywords list. You have Yocto, which is good. You have Linux again. You want that peppered throughout your resume. I did not really see the primary language. I did not see like Ubuntu, x86, or Git. So those are the things I want to see, and I didn't really see anything here except for C, but this is really far on the bottom. In addition, in the United States, this is not something you would need to add. You would keep the bachelor's and remove this, but that may be a not in the same country kind of thing. So I don't know the recruiting meta in Egypt. So that may be something you want to keep or not. And again, this part right here doesn't really say anything. You need these in the bullet points, not just up here. And speaking of the bullet points, the issue I have with them is they don't flow very well. You just say gain proficiency, develop skills, built expertise, mastered. Those don't mean anything. I need you to show what you did with it. The key to writing a good keyword bullet point is going to be what the keyword is, then how you used it, and the result of it. The result does not have to be a brag, it just needs to be what it did. So, as an example, which I'm probably going to get the actual tools wrong because I am not an embedded Linux developer, is instead of built expertise in memory management, I would say something like, uh, you know what, let me go to another one. So instead of develop skills in Linux process management, it would be like created X and Y in Linux using Y and Z. Or alternatively, instead of gain proficiency in Linux administration, it was used bash scripting system configuration in a Linux environment along with X and Y to do Z. That is the primary problem is you are saying you learned stuff, but you did not show how you learned that. And they don't really care that you learned that. It is good for internships, but you don't want all your bullet points to be that. Like but it seemed like you're not applying for an internship. You're applying for your first position. But again, maybe not. Again, this is a different country, so I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but at least from a United States perspective, I would need to say used Yocto project architecture to do X, Y, and Z, which resulted in Y. And that is my biggest problem with the resume. But I can see the fact that you do have Yocto, do have Linux. I can see a couple of people moving you forward. So, but I just want you to have a better chance. So just add some of these if you can add them. I don't want you to lie. So, all right. Well, now let's check. That is recording. All right. So now scene transition. Still scene transition. I didn't do it fast enough. All right. For this resume, we are looking at a business analyst position. And all of those boxes make it hard for me to read, but I'm not going to judge you based on that because you don't want to be known, and I totally get that. So, the keywords and qualifications we are looking for are going to be SQL, not a SQL, data analyst, Tableau, Power BI, maybe Looker. I'll be honest, I'm not sure about that one. I saw one or two. Cross-functional, so that you've worked in a cross-functional environment and you've explained it to stakeholders, managers, etc. And IC, which is individual contributor, along with let's see, that you can multitask projects and explain those topics to non-technical people. I know these are very similar, but there's a slight difference. One is just that you've worked with those people. The other is that you can explain complex topics to them. In addition, Excel, advanced Excel, Word and PowerPoint were in a few of them. So if you have that, you should put it, which I assume you do. Most people do, but they don't put it in, which is a crime against resumes. So, without further ado, let me see if I can judge it based on that. So, business analyst with experience in, oh my gosh, it's hard for me to read, but that is not what I'm going to judge on. Reporting process, strong background in utilizing SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Excel, decision making, proven ability. Okay, so I don't, I don't like this because I don't like summary sentences. Most of the time, they don't give you what you need. Typically, in my view, a summary sentence should only be done if there's something critically wrong with your resume that you need to convey immediately, such as you're switching from a uh, data analyst position into a career as a professional chef. So, in that case, you would put a summary that says, like, hey, I'm tired of that. I want to be a chef. So, but you do have the keywords. So, I'm like, so farther that this is fine. Built and maintained dynamic reporting dashboards using Power BI and Excel. That's good. I like that. Delivering accurate real-time reports. I don't know. Dynamic, I think in this case, normally I don't like flowery language, but dynamic is accurate in this one, I think. Reporting to empower department leaders in making data-driven strategic decisions. I like this. I actually think you can go further with specifically the empower part. Just say which allowed. Sorry, dog is whining at me. Okay, you're fine, Bear? Okay. Uh, Instead of like empower department leaders, say who they were, right? Like, are they the stakeholders? Are they the managers? Are they the CEO? I need to know. So, but otherwise, that is a solid first sentence. Conducted in depth data analysts, good. Data analysts is what we want. Support cross-functional projects, perfect. By identifying trends, resolving data inconsistencies, and implementing improvements to enhance departmental efficiency and accuracy. So I like that again. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything I would change. Like again, maybe you could make it say like that stakeholders used or something like that. But otherwise, I think that is a solid. So far, so good. Um, spearheaded a comprehension. Don't say spear, just say led. Led is better. Led a comprehensive project for workflow automations, leading visibility analysts, requirement gathering, and phase development to integrate OpenAI with Google documentation. Okay, so I don't see anything there I would need. I'll be honest, that sentence might want to be reworked because so far it's great. I've seen Power BI, I've seen Excel. Um, I would like a little bit more with those, honestly, and cross functional. The third sentence, I think you can redo. Honestly, there's not much. I do like that there is AI in it, but it's not a keyword, it's a bonus. So you're really gonna have to put in one of those and AI if you can. Like, I don't know. multitasks various projects, or created documents in Excel with using advanced Excel techniques. I do want to see advanced Excel somewhere. Word, PowerPoint. Like one of the job descriptions I looked at literally was just, can you do advanced Excel? Can you use Microsoft Word? And can you use PowerPoint? And that was a solid bang one. So it is important to have those on there. You don't need to say you're the best with all of them except for Excel. You just need to show that you had them. But yeah, the third bullet point could be reworked. The first two, again, I like minor quibbles. So far, so good. Let's see. What else are we looking at here? Um, all right. So we are looking for a secured third place by developing Tableau dashboards and charts. That's fine. Identified strategy boost university for ETL process. I think I saw ETL in one or two of them, so that's fine. Uh, I don't like the third one. Demonstrated critical thinking, problem and storytelling using advanced organ. This means nothing. And then restaurant let it analyze JSON by SQL. So yeah. Um, so I assume those are intern positions, right? So here's a couple of things that I think may be having a problem. One, I don't see SQL enough. I understand you have it at the very top. That does not matter. You need it in the bullet points. Two, I'm missing a little bit about multitasking, but you do have enough about cross functional. But I do need to see who you're explaining those topics to and how they did it. So, I want you to say, like, explain complex topics such as X and Y to non technical people such as X and Y. Uh, but I think a bigger issue, and maybe you're blocking this out, which is fine. I know you don't want to be known, and that's okay. Is it may give the appearance that you're job hopping because you've only had a couple of these jobs for like. Also, look at this. This is March 2024 to May 2024. Well, this is April to February to April. Well, this is May to present. So this job is should be different. Like it's not in chronological order. In addition, all of these are only a couple of months, which I'm going to guess is because you are an intern and now you're applying for a non-intern position. The problem is if you do not label that as intern or contract, it's going to give the appearance of a job hopper, which is one of the biggest red flags to hiring managers, besides owning your own company. People in the last video thought it said cell phone, but no, it's self owned, which I do understand because I said it weird. But yeah, this is probably a formatting issue more so than the bullet points because your points, while I have some nitpicks on, large good. Uh, but yeah, it's the timeline of it looks weird, and it also looks like you've only been at every single job for like 2 months, and hiring managers hate that. You need to show that that was an internship, or alternate, like yeah, no, an internship or a project that had a fixed date, because if not, they are going to probably like immediately reject you. That is one of the biggest red flags is job hopping, not gaps. Everybody thinks it's gaps. It's job hopping, and if you have more jobs per year they're gonna say no. Again, internships are an exception because those are going to be only a couple of months. That's what an internship is, but it's not labeled as an intern. Uh, and maybe that's within the black boxes, which is fine. But like right now, it looks like you've been at like 6 or 7 jobs in the same year, and we're not even at the end of the year. So this is gonna absolutely tank your chances unless you can like showcase why, because it doesn't matter how good the bullet points are if they see a job hopper, unless it's for a short-term contract, they are not going to go forward with it. It is such an uphill battle to convince somebody, convince a manager of a self-owned or job hopper to get an interview, that to the point where most recruiters won't even try. um, and honestly, job hopping is one where you can't really fight that if the manager thinks they're going to, which this reads like. So if these were internships, that's cool. Just put intern. But you have too much here. And this is all also in the same year. Like you have an entire page of work history from the start of this year and it's not even ended. Like there's too much here. This looks weird to hiring managers. And I feel like that is probably going to be the issue. One of them. So yeah, it's a formatting and maybe too many. So that's my vote on this is I think the bullet points are good, but I would not be able to convince the manager that you're not a job hopper, so I wouldn't move you forward. Unless those were interns. If you said internship or you said project, but I don't see any of that. So unless it was for a short term contract, if it's for a couple of month contract, that's fine. You're in. But yeah, that's I couldn't move forward with this. I don't think the hiring manager would let me. So that's my review of this. And thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, it's really important to the algorithm. I found that out because I'm learning how to do the YouTube stuff. But I love to help people with resumes, so keep on sending them to me because I want people to have jobs, and I don't like the fact that a bad resume is maybe somebody's only skill they don't have. So yeah, later, y'all.